Welcome to MojoPlays. Today, we're looking at 10 announced games we might never get to play. Before we begin, we publish new content all week long, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. Development hell is a beast like no other. We still hope all of these games come out eventually, but with such troubled developments, it's looking increasingly unlikely, or that we could be waiting quite a while.
That means more merchants to rob, but also more rival pirates out looking for a quick score.
Dying Light 2.
It's been 15 years since the fall. The city is a corpse.
What's the best way to avoid city streets teeming with dangerous zombies? Take to the rooftops, of course. It was this fresh approach to the zombie apocalypse formula that made the original Dying Light, released all the way back in 2015, such a success. In 2018, after numerous expansions, development studio Techland announced that a sequel was in the works. But since then, we've heard very little about Dying Light 2. We do know that many important development tools, like the entire game engine, have been built from scratch. But did Techland bite off more than they can chew? There is currently a tentative release date for 2021, but that can be pushed at any time. New Silent Hill. Horror fans everywhere couldn't contain their excitement when the mysterious demo PT appeared on the PlayStation Store and was revealed at the end to actually be a teaser for a new Silent Hill made by Hideo Kojima. But during the difficult development of Metal Gear Solid 5, Kojima left Konami and Silent Hill was dead in the water. Until 2021, that is. It's heavily rumored that a prominent Japanese developer has been contracted to finally develop a new Silent Hill, the first entry in the series since PT itself. Konami has also created a new Twitter account for the franchise and hasn't let go of the IP yet. But is a new Silent Hill too good to be true? System Shock 3.
There is no evil here, only change.
An iconic franchise, with a remake of the original game coming at the end of 2021, it's sure to find a whole new audience, which means even more people will be clamoring for System Shock 3. With Warren Spector, creator of Deus Ex and System Shock itself, initially on board at Other Side Entertainment, fans hoped that the series would finally be revived. Unfortunately, in 2020, years after the game's announcement, it came out that the development team was no longer employed at Other Side. Chinese megacorporation Tencent is purportedly now in charge of the game, and its future is currently touch and go.
Now comes the reckoning.
Metroid Prime 4. The Metroid series has had a difficult time in the last decade or so, and the upcoming sequel Metroid Prime 4 isn't faring any better. First announced in 2017, we initially thought Metroid Prime 4 would be an addition to the Switch's incredible early lineup, but it wasn't meant to be. The game was originally supposed to be developed by Bandai Namco Studios, with the same staff who worked on the ill-fated Star Wars 1313. After no news for almost 2 years, Nintendo was forced to announce that the game had been progressing so poorly that it had been moved to a different developer. Retro Studios took the helm in 2019, and since then, we haven't heard or seen anything more. Dead Island 2. While Techland moved on from the Dead Island IP to work on Dying Light, publisher Deep Silver hasn't let it rest. Publicly announced in 2014, when it was supposedly only a year away from release, Dead Island 2 has all but disappeared in the years since. Like other troubled games, it's completely restarted its development multiple times, with the original studio Jaeger being dropped by Deep Silver. It was then moved to Sumo Digital, which also couldn't deliver, and finally Dambuster Studios, which is still hard at work. It's set to take us to the sunny shores of California, but with all these restarts, it's not clear if or when we'll ever get there.
Freaking awesome! Let's go! Dude, chill!
Wild. You'd be forgiven for forgetting that Wild, first announced as a PS4 exclusive in 2014, was ever slated to release during the PS4's lifespan. Though we've seen some early gameplay, Wild remains an elusive piece of vaporware. It's an open-world prehistoric survival game where you're able to possess animals and use their various natural abilities to your advantage. Beyond that, next to nothing is known, and there's almost been complete radio silence from Studio Wild Sheep in the years since it first appeared, other than the departure of lead developer Michel Ancel. New concept art released in 2020 seems to prove the game still exists, but will it vanish entirely? BioShock 4.
I chose rapture.
We haven't seen anything new from BioShock since 2014's Burial at Sea DLCs for BioShock Infinite, but as one of the most iconic franchises in video game history, it was only a matter of time before 2K tried to find a home for another entry. With the original creator Ken Levine working on a different project with Ghost Story Games, 2K has founded a brand new studio called Cloud Chamber just to work on BioShock 4. Will it take us back to the icy depths of Rapture, the soaring heights of Columbia, or somewhere totally new? Technically, all a BioShock game needs is a lighthouse, so as long as it has that, it's golden.
He's still breathing. It's alright. I know he'll be an angel soon.
Vampire the Masquerade, Bloodlines 2.
Of course. And I don't want to waste your time.
In 2005, against all the odds, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines was released, and for all its glaring technical issues, it became a hit with RPG fans everywhere. Finally, it looked as though the series was going to be picked back up, with a sequel initially slated to release in 2020. However, delay after delay cast doubt on whether the game would ever be finished. But even the departure of many lead developers wasn't the final nail in the coffin. In early 2021, Paradox Interactive announced it had split with Hardsuit Labs and was seeking a new studio to get Bloodlines 2 over the finish line. Will it rise from the grave or stay dead forever? Skull and Bones.
This hidden pirate den provides everything you need for your next strike.
Ubisoft perfected open-world naval combat in Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, and since then, it's reappeared in many AC games, no matter how poorly it fits. But Ubisoft finally seemed to find a proper home for it in Skull and Bones, a pirate game featuring both single and multiplayer gameplay. We saw an exciting trailer back at E3 2017, which teased the appearance of a Kraken at the very end. And aside from a new gameplay trailer at E3 2018, it's since disappeared. In 2020, Ubisoft Singapore announced that the game's development had been restarted because they had a new vision for it. It's slated to release in 2022 at the latest, but Ubisoft is still being cagey with the details. Beyond Good and Evil 2.
Your character and weapons can also be enhanced with augments, which grant special abilities and let you experiment with different effects in combat.
Prequel to the 2003 cult classic, Ubisoft finally announced that Beyond Good and Evil 2 was officially in the works in 2017, after years of leaks and rumors. But it wasn't destined to hit shelves anytime soon, and quickly entered development hell. After years of silence on the project, in 2020 Michel Ancel, the project lead, announced he was quitting game development completely. But Ubisoft's internal investigations, after a slew of abuse allegations against senior developers, found that Ancel had allegedly been mismanaging his team. Since his departure, Beyond Good and Evil 2 could get back on track, or it could be abandoned for good.
Check out these other great clips from MojoPlays, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.